Welcome back to the lecture series on repertories. I am Dr. Kedarnath A. Longani. I am a MD Homoeopath. Today we are going to see the topic disadvantages of repertories. First, we will see the introduction. Repertory is basically an index. Never suggest a final choice. Repertory lags behind the Mathematics. Repertory growth is slow and delayed. Different repertories have different philosophy and construction. Repertory gives the options and not the drugs. Repertory is basically an index. Naturally, it can serve only a limited purpose, and so too much expectation from this tool can cause disappointment. It can never replace a physician's mental application and knowledge of Mathematics. Usually one blames and accuses the repertory when he fails in selecting the right remedy. Even after repertorization, it should be always remembered that the repertory is like a tool and much success depends on the skill of the practitioner using it. If he does not use it properly, it can produce blunders and the achievement would be very limited. So, in order to use it effectively, one should be fully acquainted with all the aspects of the repertory, and one should always be aware of its limitations and adaptability. Now we will see the limitations. Now, first limitation. Repertory is a mean to an end, never an end in itself. Repertory gives finally a small group of medicines with different grades, but seldom suggests a final choice. It is the duty of the physician to go back to the final court of appeal, that is, Mathematics, and establish a correspondence. Second limitation. Repertory is an index to the Materia Medica, which can be used as a tool for reference. It does not mean that repertory can replace Mathematics as well as the physician's knowledge of Materia Medica. Now we will see the third limitation. Different repertories by different authors are based on their own philosophy and follow their own plan of construction. Thus, each one has its own scope and limitations. One should be thorough with all types of repertories in order to get the best out of them. Fourth one, by using the repertory, we can narrow down to a small group of remedies. As repertory is not made for selecting the final remedy. In order to prescribe the minimum, one should prefer Materia Medica, those remedies in short list. Fifth one, as Bogar pointed, every repertory is useful. Unfortunately, not one is complete. Materia Medica is ever enlarging. Every day there are new clinical experiences, new additions to Materia Medica cannot be accommodated in the repertories on day-to-day basis. Hence, they cannot always keep pace with the latest in materia medica. To that extent, this is a limitation. Sixth one, each repertory by different authors has his or her own plan and construction based on the philosophical background, which varies from each other. The utility of a repertory depends upon the thorough knowledge of these features. Now we will see the seventh one. There are many rubrics which are not represented well. Therefore, they cannot guide a physician properly in the selection of a simile. Now we will see the eighth point. The gradation of remedies given in a repertory indicates the degree of reliability of its action on that symptom produced by proving and clinical verification and not the intensity of its curative action. Ninth one, they relate symptoms and or rubrics, which is an interpretation of the physician. If the physician makes a mistake at the beginning by ignoring the person and just counting the symptoms and marks, then using a repertory will be futile. Now we see the 10th limitation. Gradation of the remedies varies in different repertories. 11th one. The repertory cannot give guidance regarding the potency, doses, and repetition schedule. Therefore, a physician who handles the repertory must be thorough in all these and other aspects. 12th one. Most of the repertories have close running rubrics which are difficult to differentiate from one another, which makes confusion in selection of rubrics. 13th one. No source are not represented properly in any repertory. However, the modern repertories have included no source. 14th one. Repertories do not provide the information about the potency to be selected and repetition of the doses, which are well explained in the organon of medicine and philosophy. 15th one. Handling and use of repertory cannot be independent of the knowledge in materia medica, organon, and clinical subjects, as well as the knowledge of human behavior. 16th one. Even though a physician can depend on repertories to find out the indicated medicine for a symptom totality, the successful repertorization depends upon the skillful selection of symptoms. 17th one. Physician should develop the ability to make proper case processing to reach a successful repertorial result, even if we use a repertory. 18th one. Use of a repertory is not recommended if a case clearly indicates a remedy. 19th one. Repertory softwares minimize the chance of a physician to develop his therapeutic knowledge by providing shortcuts. 20th one. Searching a rubric is always difficult as the arrangement of rubrics may not be strictly followed throughout the book. Misplaced rubrics in the repertories also add to this demerit. 21st one. Sources of information are not well represented in all repertories. 22nd one will see. The abbreviations for remedies used in different repertories are not uniform, which makes confusion about the remedy represented. Now we will see the 23rd one. To use most of the repertories, symptoms have to be converted to rubrics, which may disfigure the original symptom. 24th one will see. The clinical and regional repertories keep the physician away from the concept of holistic approach. Now we will see the 25th one. Without proper judgment of the value of symptoms, the repertorial result always points towards polycrace remedies. Now we will see the 26th point. No repertory is complete when the repertories of olden times are seen. They contain less number of drugs and symptoms when you compare with the present day repertories. But those older repertories contain full information of their times and they naturally cannot include those drugs or symptoms which prove to be efficacious in the latter days. So, considering that the older repertories contain less number of drugs and symptoms, it is not a limitation. We'll take one example. We'll see the example consolation amelioration. In Kent's repertory, we shows only pulsatilla is a drug, whereas if you go through the Murphy's repertory, it shows pulsatilla, phosphorus, carcinosin and asafoetida. During Kent's time, only pulsatilla was found to be effective, but as the experience grew, other drugs were found to be useful. Thus, considering that older repertories contain less number of drugs is not a limitation. As the days will pass and the experience will grow, new drugs will be added to the repertories and thus no repertory will be complete till the human beings exist on this earth. Thank you for listening the lecture on limitations of repertory. If you like the lecture, then please do subscribe and share. Thank you and see you soon with the new video on repertory.